What's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going over 5 things I really wish I had stopped doing sooner, and hopefully by the end of this video, after you've gotten all 5, you'll have a lot of information that can help you avoid a lot of negative situations and avoid being unhappy genuinely in your life. Now, before we get into that, my name is Keith. I made this channel to help men create their ideal lives through self-mastery. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first thing I really wish I had stopped doing sooner is being afraid to fail. I seriously missed so many opportunities with women, in business, really in just every aspect of my life, just to have a fulfilling, enriched life because I was afraid to fail. And I know I'm not the only one who goes through this. In fact, at this point, as somebody who has kind of purged the fear of failure to a large degree from my life, I'm kind of in the minority on that. But I can tell you that once you get past the fear of failure and just start making it a habit to break through the fear barrier, the terror barrier, whatever you want to call it, your life just gets so much better, so much easier. You just feel free, like genuinely free. And it's not like the feeling goes away, like you still have to fight it, but it becomes easier to fight the fear of failure. And the reward is so good that you know that it's worth doing it. And even if you fail, you realize failure is really not a big deal. But like I said, I probably missed 100 opportunities to have a good girl in my life because of the fear of failure to either approach them, or even if I knew they liked them, I was too scared to do something about it. I didn't start a YouTube channel for several years because I was scared to fail and I was scared of what other people would think if I did it. I didn't start businesses that I wanted to start, or I didn't go wholeheartedly into them because I was afraid of it. I was worried about what kind of stuff I put out in public because I didn't want people to think a certain way about it. And really, I just was holding myself back for the opinions of other people who were going to hate on me regardless, or they were going to like me regardless. In fact, the more willing to get past your fear of failure and your fear of other people's opinions, the more polarizing you become. And you're going to have people who don't like you when you do that, but you're also going to have people who really do like you. Whereas if you're just like plain white bread, like nobody really has an opinion on you. And honestly, I'd rather have a lot of people who really like me and a lot of people who really don't like me than have a lot of people who don't care about me at all, pretty much. Second one, I've talked about this one plenty of times and made videos on it, was porn. I wish this is one I'd never done at all, honestly. But if I had stopped this in high school, I think not only with women, but just in general, my entire high school experience would have been better, because considering I didn't really like high school at all. I was extremely socially awkward and uncomfortable talking to people. I just had really low self-esteem in high school. I didn't really feel comfortable talking to girls at all. Obviously, I passed up plenty of opportunities to have a good girl in my life, or just girls who were interested in me in general. I passed up countless opportunities because I was uncomfortable talking to them, and a lot of it had to do with porn, and that was a big issue. I think it had a huge impact on my inability to be motivated and to set goals, because I just know once I stopped doing it, I became a lot more goal-oriented, more driven, and I think the two things obviously had something to do with each other. And I don't want to continue going on about this topic since I've made so many videos on it, but guys, just if I had really stopped watching porn in high school, I think my entire experience would have been way different. I think I would have matured way faster, and I think honestly I'd probably be further ahead right now than I am. But honestly, like, God has a plan, so we'll see. I'm here where I'm at right now, and I really don't regret anything. It's just, if I could have changed this, I would have changed it. Third thing, smoking and drinking. I put these two together because oftentimes they went hand in hand together, and I see smoking and drinking as more of like a phase of my life than more of an action, because there was really a mindset that went along with this when I was doing these two things on almost a daily basis. There was a period for probably a year and a half where I got drunk at least 3 times a week, usually 5 times a week. I was high every single day. And it was just a total mindset of, like, first of all, I didn't like doing it. Like, I literally, almost every time I did it, I didn't really know why I was doing it, which ties into one of the ones I'm going to talk about here in just a second. One of the things I wish I'd stopped doing sooner. But again, I really had no idea why I was doing these things. I woke up blackout drunk in people's houses, throwing up in their bathrooms, just like stupid stuff. And the amount of time and money I wasted on this was awful. Now, I'm not going to say like I'm not drinking again. I still drink. It's just in moderation. One of the 4 Stoic virtues was moderation, moderating things. The problem with weed and alcohol is most people don't know how to tell themselves and be honest with themselves that they're not moderating. They think moderation is actually excess because they don't want to stop doing it. So like I would have thought moderating with weed was smoking once a day. Now I think moderation with weed is like once a year, right? So like it just kind of changes, right? But the amount of money and time I wasted, the amount of opportunities squandered when I could have been doing other things and just expanding as a person, and just I genuinely wasn't happy doing this. I mean, like, it was in the back of my mind over and over again when I did this. It was like, why am I doing this? But it's just like kind of group think, right? You just go along with what everyone else is doing. I hadn't figured me out enough to really have enough of an internal compass to know that this isn't what I should be doing. So I just assumed this is what I was supposed to be doing. And like I said, just tons of money wasted. Could be in a way better financial position if I hadn't done this. But again, that's here nor there. We got to learn these lessons in life, but I do wish I had stopped doing this sooner. Fourth thing I wish I'd stopped doing sooner was shit talking people. So I used to be very insecure, and I think a lot of times insecurity comes manifests itself in talking badly about other people, because you think you can put other people down to put yourself up. And once I noticed this in myself, I started noticing a lot of people do this. In fact, most people do this. That's what most people do on Twitter when they hate on somebody who's famous or something like that. They're always gossiping about somebody because they don't feel good about themselves inside. And I've just made it a point to where I really don't talk bad about people anymore, because I just feel good about me. So why would I talk bad about somebody? But for a long time in my life, not only was I insecure, I was also uncomfortable with confrontation. And because of that, if I would have an issue with a friend of mine, I'd be very passive aggressive. And as a result, I ended up leaving a lot of broken friendships in my past, where I probably could have resolved things if I was capable of having a mature conversation with the person about the issues, or just handling things in a more mature way. But I chose to go behind their back, talk badly about them, and pretty much implode the friendships. And it's just, I regret doing that. I had to learn this lesson for sure. And also, again, just like putting down other people to try and lift yourself up. This is what most bullies do. This is why bullies pick on little kids, right? I used to pick on people all the time just to try and prop myself up. And now I just don't feel the need to do that because I'm confident. And once you get this perspective in your head and you realize that for you to look good, you don't have to make other people look bad. In fact, like, a great leader oftentimes gets a lot of praise without having to take it himself. He usually gives credit to the people around him, the people who are under him in his command, but he ends up getting the credit. And that's the ironic part of it, right? Is like, the more humility, like genuine humility you show, oftentimes the more respect you garner. And so there is no dynamic. There's not this duality where you have to be good and everyone else has to be bad. It's like everyone can be great, and you can acknowledge the good in everybody without having to put other people down all the time. All right, and the fifth thing on this list that I have is trying to be somebody I wasn't. And this is what I was talking about with alcohol and weed. I didn't really know why I was doing these things every night, but everybody around me seemed to think it was the right thing to do, so I just went along with it because I wanted to fit in, and I wanted everyone else to think I was a certain way, and I wanted everybody to like me, because I didn't really know what I thought of me. I didn't have an internal sense of who I was. In fact, if you'd asked me who I was at that time or at other times in my life, because I went through kind of phases. There was a phase where I dressed like a frat dude. There was a phase where I was interested in college athletics because I was hanging out with somebody who was very into college athletics. And I really don't care at all about college athletics, to be honest. There was a phase where I was a shoe guy. I had all these shoes, like Jordans and stuff like that. Everybody goes through phases, obviously, but as I look back, the core reason that this happened, and especially as it happened when it got into me drinking and smoking all the time, was the fact that I just didn't know who the heck I was and what I was supposed to think. And so I just assumed this is what I'm supposed to do because this is what seems cool, right? And I just wanted to be cool. I wanted people to like me, because I just didn't feel like I had that within myself. And so I ended up doing a bunch of stuff I wish I hadn't done. And at the end of the day, just doing this, I really wasn't ever happy because I was living a life for other people's approval. Now, I went through times where I was happy, I enjoyed having friends and I enjoyed doing these things, but internally as a state of being for who I wasn't happy because I didn't really know who I was. And it's not like I was consciously doing this. It's not like I was consciously living a lie. I don't think it's just I had no understanding of what my own truth was. I'd never thought to even ask myself those questions. I don't think most people do ask themselves these questions, but once I started to ask myself this question, I just started to understand more about who I was and understand that you don't have to do what other people are doing. In fact, the things that most people do with their time are a bad idea. Most people are making the wrong decision. Like, I don't think these things that I have on this list they're obviously actually the majority things. The majority of people are trying to be somebody they aren't to make other people think something about them. The majority of men are watching porn. The majority of people are wasting time drinking and doing stupid stuff. The majority of people gossip, right? But at the end of the day, when I stopped doing these things, I just had profound positive impacts on my life, and I was just a lot happier person. At the end of the day, you gotta decide what matters to you. Do you want to be like happy, and do you want to feel good with you, or do you want to please other people, or do you want to fit in with a certain idea of what you're supposed to be like? And at the end of the day, I just finally chose, like, I just want to be happy with me. Like, I don't need other people around me. The kind of people who I want in my life, they're going to stick around, right? Like, the people who support who I really am will stick around, and the people who didn't actually really weren't interested in me, they're just interested in what they could get out of my situation, whether that's somebody to smoke weed with or just waste time with, or they just liked me because I was faking this image to be like somebody. You know, those people just come and go, right? So the people who really are down for you will stick around, and once you acknowledge this and just realize you don't need anybody around you, you'll be a lot happier for that. And guys, that's all I got for this video. If you got something out of it, give me a like. Helps me reach more guys with my message. Again, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.